The more things change, the more they stay the same. 4 years ago, I answered a question, and would you believe I had a very similar question today, 4 years later. A mother of 3 telephoned me today and asked me to go through the scenarios of what would happen if one of her adult children predeceased. So as with many family members on my channel, I reference them as A, B, and C. Those are her 3 children. A has children, married with children. B, no children and married. C, single. Typical scenario, and I may not remember it because those are fictitious family traits. The issue was she has a child that is married with no children in the older 40s years old. Right? So probably not going to have any children. That was the thought. And the client was wrestling with the fact of if my child predeceases me, should I provide for his wife? I'll use it that way. Or if my child predeceases me, should I take the share of B and give it to A and C, or even give it to the share of B to the grandchildren as a separate bequest? So that was the conversation. Now, in this scenario, if B was alive at the time of the parent's passing, even if it was by a day, B's spouse would inherit, right? Because mom passed away, a day later, the child passed away. Any portion that would have been inherited by that child B will go to, well, it will pass through the will or estate plan of B. So if B had a will or a trust and language that said, all of my assets, all of my estate goes to the Salvation Army, well, then the Salvationists would in fact inherit. And a typical scheme, plan, distribution might be A to the heirs of A, B and to the heirs of B, C to the heirs of C. Very rarely, although it can be, do we get a survivor takes all, right? So if 3 children goes to 2, goes to 1, survival of the fittest, then the survivor of all of my children will inherit. And usually, not exclusively, but usually children outlive their parents. Although with longevity and parents living longer and taking care of themselves, you could have a circumstance where a parent has a naturally long life and one of the children is befallen with an injury or an illness or a tragedy. We do see circumstances where the parent is not outlived by the child, usually marked by tragedy. So in those circumstances, what happens? What do we do? It's a conversation with my client. Conversation. Who do you want to benefit? Who would you like to inherit as an alternative person? Is it the children of your deceased child? Is it the spouse of your deceased child? Is it one of the other children? Is it your grandchildren? Is it a charity? And we work through those circumstances. We, the royal we. If you need me, Frank Bruno Law.